welcome to the show. I'm Sherry Schreiner. A couple of things I want to talk about today. Was going over some of the videos on the destruction down in Houston, and it makes you wonder because it's always been the first city on the top 20 list for destruction on the script, and so if they're going by that list, which I posted on my website, the Watcher Files, about 15 years ago, Houston and then Dallas. The only difference is Houston was supposed to be taken out by a nuclear bomb. Instead, they've got bombed by water. And so they may change their tactics, but the target remains the same, it seems. Because, I mean, come on, they're trying to make it sound like, oh, that's going to affect the energy production of all America. Seriously, we got so much oil across America. They have oil wells capped off in Ohio because they're not even using them. We have so much oil here. So no, the only thing that's going to piss off is the Bushes and all the drug trades that come through there in the Houston oil ports. That's the whole cabal. That's their area, Houston. They run the oil there. They run the drugs, probably the human trafficking, and so that takes out a major port for them. But number 2 on the list was Dallas, and so if that's any indication, there should be some kind of destruction hitting Dallas. And I'm not saying they're going to go down their little top 20 list, but if they do, that's something to keep an eye on. Watch Houston, and then watch. They wanted to get rid of the Bible Belt. The Queen Lizard hates the Bible Belt in America. And so they also had like Birmingham, Alabama, and Atlanta, Georgia on their target list because they hate the Bible Belt. I was reading not too long ago somewhere, I have no idea where, but it was saying that like 90% of the black men in Atlanta are gay or on the down low, and I'm thinking that's a pretty high number, considering that only about 1% across America. And so, they'll destroy a city in various ways to try to make Atlanta into the next San Francisco, it sounds like. I know that whole hip-hop crowd is gay. So maybe they're getting the fans now down in Atlanta. That seems to be their home base. I don't know. I don't particularly pay too much attention to that crowd. Okay, so another thing I was caught my attention was Hurricane Harvey going up the Mississippi River. William Mount has a video out. I watch his videos if they're interesting. And this one was saying he thought the hurricane was going to be pushed up the Mississippi River to destroy the coal and oil exports in America. The Mississippi River, really? For coal exports? Like we have no other way of getting this stuff around for transportation? I mean, come on. I think the one thing they're missing is the huge fact that the Madrid fault line is the target every year. Come on, folks. Since the Obama years, every year we would have unprecedented rain and flooding along the Madrid fault line. They've been trying to set it off. We have like probably 10 nuclear reactors along the fault line. And they have been trying to set that fault. I'm exaggerating like usual, but you get what I'm saying. We have at least 1 or 2 there. They've been trying to set it off ever since the Obama years. Because the Madrid fault line goes all the way up there. The whole path is right. So you could go straight up the Mississippi River and then jump over to the Great Lakes, and you have the Madrid fault line. And so it actually could come across through Cleveland all the way down to the west side of Ohio and go that way towards the Mississippi River. But that whole area there, from the Great Lakes all the way over to the Mississippi River down to the Gulf, is the fault line, Madrid fault line. And the reason why they use water is because it will soften the ground and make the plates move. That's what their belief is. that if they soften the ground, it'll cause the plate underneath there to shift, which would cause the earthquake. And so that's what they've been trying to do for 10 years now. Set off that Madrid fault line. And so I think that's just another target of theirs if they're going to keep this Hurricane Harvey thing going. But good luck with that. I don't know what the weapon they're using, but, you know, I've had to deal with getting a new computer. They sabotaged to start hacking programs. I thought it was a virus at first, but no. Because the programs they were attacking were had nothing to do with the internet. They were programs I used, like my Bible codes program and some other ones that I couldn't access anymore. So I knew it was them. And I would try to reinstall a new program, and it wouldn't reinstall. And I tried different things, and nothing would work. And so I had to go buy a new computer. Yeah, I'll buy a new computer just to get my programs running. And so now I have a bigger and faster and stronger computer. Can't use Skype, but I'll figure it out eventually. But, you know, I can't let it go because you don't mess with me and not get payback. I have destroyed billions of dollars in their bases because they like to mess with me. And I don't let it go, and you'd think they'd know this by now. And so I figured my last computer was probably worth about $200 because it was old. It was a Windows 7, and I was starting to run out of space on the thing. I might just take out the Antarctica weather weapon bases in exchange for that. So you can kiss your little Antarctica weather weapon bases goodbye. I mean, I took out the FBI's building in D.C., the whole basement of it, just over a dog, so don't mess with me, you stupid idiots. I laughed because the FBI put in a request. They want a new building, and Trump said no. That's because I destroyed their little basement hideouts there. And the building's probably on shaky ground because of the foundation being rocked. Let it be. Don't stop messing with me. So yeah, the Russians have a base in Antarctica, and the Americans have theirs, and the British have theirs, and the Chinese have theirs. Well, they've lost access to the immediate area of the Arctic Circle entrance itself into the South Pole. They can't get near there. That's being very heavily guarded. That's kind of like no man's zone now. They will get destroyed by weird creatures. I already did a video on that last year. And so they've maintained their bases at a distance because they have weather weapon bases down there where they run weather weapon tech, and so now they can kiss that goodbye. Take care of that. Oh, today is Barbara Rogers' preliminary hearing in Monroe County, Pennsylvania. I haven't heard anything yet. Waiting to hear about that. I'm still baffled by the whole thing. So I am waiting to hear because clearly the woman they arrested isn't the woman he was dating. I mean, come on. You know, and people think I'm crazy, but look at the latest Charlottesville PSYOP, where the driver of the car, they have a photo of him in the car compared to the man they arrested for it. They're not the same two people. So this isn't above and beyond the stuff they pull, because they do this all the time. They set up people to take the fall after someone else commits the crime, like they did to that red-headed clown kid in Colorado. They did the same thing to Timothy McVeigh, these Manchurian candidates, they call them, where they're the front, they're the face of whatever crime is committed, but they didn't actually do it. Yeah, this is what this whole Barb Johnson thing is, or Bob Rogers thing is reeking of, because when you look at the pictures of her and Stephen just months before he was killed, it's completely a different person that he was with. compared to the one that was arrested. I don't know why anybody else doesn't pick up on this stuff. I'm not the most analytical person on the planet, but even I can tell something that obvious. So, I don't know. Some people say because she's a witch, she can change her looks. I don't know about that because I know some pretty powerful witches, and I've never known them change their looks. I mean, I know they can do it. Witches can morph into animals or birds or weird things. Kind of like the stuff you read about when you're a kid and you read fairy tale books, The Wicked Witch of wherever. I don't know. I don't know that it's happening, any witch in America having that kind of power. And so I know a lot of witches in America. In fact, the witch gangs have gotten really quiet lately. They were coming out to attack when this whole thing first started, and now they've gotten quiet. No, they're totally irrelevant. You know, they're just, I don't even know what they were mouthing off about because, you know, I was the one warning Steve that witch was going to kill him. And so what, all these witch gangs are mad at me? For what, trying to warn him? What'd they do for him? What'd they do for him? They just all embraced Barbara. Oh, Barbara, she's such a nice girl. Sherry Schreiner's a big meanie. She's a big bully. Yeah. Who was right, huh? Who was right? Not that I wanted to be. I just saw it coming. So that gets going, I'll be keeping an eye on it. I may go to the trial myself. Who knows? Who knows? I'd like to see justice for Steve out of the whole thing at least. I want the one who killed him held accountable, not the fake. Not the fake. So I just posted a video of Taylor Swift's latest video. Look what you made me do. And this video she put out for her new album, Reputation. Something about drowning or sinking her reputation, destroying her reputation. Oh yeah, that was done a couple of years ago. I told you 2 or 3 years ago that Taylor Swift had been replaced. In fact, I've got it on my website. I did a video with her mentioned in it. They're not the same Taylor Swift. Ever since she moved to New York City and got that penthouse, was dating that billionaire, that was not Taylor Swift. That was not the original, I should say. That was the fake. And so now she's coming out with this video, or they're coming out with a video, where they show multiple clones of Taylor Swift. And at the end, it says she's dead. Very interesting telling video. Because the original Taylor is dead. The original Katy Perry is dead. The original Miley Cyrus is dead. The original Nicki Minaj is dead. The original Britney Spears is dead. They're all dead. See, they had a huge dilemma back in 2012 when about 500 of them disappeared, top celebrities across the board, A, B, C list, across the board. A bunch of celebrities disappeared. And so they replaced them with clones. And so they got into this technology where they just started replacing them with lookalikes, keep the brands going, keep the money being made. And I kept warning it was getting really bad because usually when you sign the dotted line, you sell your soul to the devil for fortune and fame. These guys were living out their lives with fortune and fame, and then the devil would come knocking and they would die. And he would get their soul. This is how it works. Well, about 10 years ago, and I'm slow, so it was probably going on before then. I think I caught on in 2012, so what I'm saying is it probably started 10 years ago in earnest, was that as soon as they would sign the dotted line, they were just getting soul scalped. They were getting soul scalped. Replaced. They weren't, there's no promises. When you sign the dotted line for fame and fortune, yeah, you're going to get fame and fortune, but you may not be alive to enjoy it. The character playing you from that point on will get it. I mean, look at Michael Jackson. It worked for that. They kept Michael alive for years. I mean, he died in the early 80s. And they kept him alive for years. He died when he was like 24, 22, and they kept him alive till he was 50 just using fakes. Yeah, he kept the character alive and made billions. And so that's what they started to do to a lot of these other celebrities, which now aren't even real humans. They're just characters. They're characters. Because the originals have been killed off and replaced by tranny replacements to push the agenda of trannies. You know, if you say the word tranny on Facebook, you get thrown in timeout. So I use the term drags in one of my posts. I'll probably end up in timeout. And they usually do that on a Friday. Oh, can't say that word. You're going into timeout. But that's what they do, folks. And Putin, he's been replaced. He has multiple clones. I was screaming about all 12 of Obama's clones. Y'all starting to catch on to Trump's clone. I've seen the one down in Houston. I was like, holy crap, look at that one. Yeah, because there's not a government that's using actual humans, folks. They're all characters. Now, where the real ones are, you know, Obama used to sit in his bedroom and watch TV all day, the real one, while the fake was out doing whatever. They keep them hidden away, and so I think Trump is probably holed up in his gold penthouse suite in New York, Fifth Avenue, or at Mar-a-Lago. I don't know where he is. That's usually the million-dollar question of the day, because I'm not sure Ivanka even is still alive, the daughter. I think she was just totally knocked out and replaced, and the sons are scared to death. I'm not sure. I think the Eric Trump we see now is not the real one. I think he was replaced like 15 years ago. I don't know about the junior, and he just always looks scared to death, like he's never going to say anything about anything. Donald Trump, he's got clones. They're using the clones. But the interesting thing about clones is that, and I learned this from Jim Carrey, is that when the original person starts to turn anti-Illuminati, starts to hate them, starts to get tired of the whole charade, that when they clone that person, they're going to have the same attitudes as the original had. Because what they do is they make a copy of your brain. And this is their terms. What they do is they hook you up to a machine, and they copy your brain into another machine. This is like a brain-to-brain interface type thing, where they just put your whole mind, your whole brain, on a hard drive. They download all your memories, all your thoughts, all your feelings. And imagine being hooked up to a machine and just downloading everything about you into that machine. And then they take that machine, put everything, all the knowledge, put it on a chip, and stick it into a robot, a synthetic robotoid, or clone somebody, and they have that exact brain as you. And that person replaces you. This is what they do. And so they were having trouble with some of his clones because they hated that. Towards the end there, he was hating the New World Order, as they all do. And then they get replaced, and the problem is that the clones would hate them too. So they started using organic robotoids because those could be more controlled. And interesting, because Conor McGregor has one. He has a robotoid that he can get activated. They touch his back, and it activates him. Very, very strange what they're doing to a lot of people. But I'm telling you what, when you sign a dotted line from now on, they just take you over completely. You know, there's no grace period. We left grace period a long time ago, and I always wanted to ask Tim Tebow if it was worth it. You know, I was warning him years ago, and you know, he was just a shame to the entire Christian community, selling out. I remember him back in college, and we're like, oh, Tim Tebow, yeah. And you know, I'd always heard from one of my Satanist friends that he was going to be a great sacrifice for them. And I'm thinking, what? He's a Christian. He's not one of yours. And to them, when a Christian turns away from Christianity, then that's a sacrifice. They consider that a sacrifice, a good sacrifice. they turned somebody out. They turned a Christian out. And they turned them away from their faith to join their side. And that's considered a good sacrifice for them. Because they're always about sacrifices. And you can tell anybody who's sold out because they're on TV. You can't be on TV unless you've sold out. So every person you see on TV, sports reporters, athletes being interviewed, you have to be approved to be interviewed. Anybody, your own show, you have to hold out. The world we live in, folks. Anyway, I'll be back on Friday, keeping up with some of this destruction that's going on down in Houston. Supposedly they're killing people. They're going into the homeless shelters. Houston police officer was sitting outside on the street. Reporter asked him why he wasn't in the shelter. He said, "I'm not going in there. The Salvation Army's killing everybody in there." So yeah, conspiracy already. But I have that video on my Facebook. If you want to go to my Facebook and look at it, homeless Houston police officer, where he says the Salvation Army is killing the people in the homeless shelters. Anyway, I'll be back on Friday, folks. I'm running out of time already. Till Friday, God bless.